Hi, grade 5. So today in class we went over common and proper nouns. Now I'm sure this is revision for everyone, but just to go over it again, common nouns name any person, place, thing, or idea, whereas proper nouns name a specific person, place, thing, or idea. All right, and it's important to note that proper nouns are always capitalized. Okay, so here's an example. A lizard that can fly lives in Malaysia. Here we have lizard is a common noun and Malaysia is a proper noun. If we had the name of the lizard, for example, it would be proper, all right, and capitalized. And here, if we had the word country instead of Malaysia, this would not be capitalized because it would be a common noun. All right, so this is what we did in class today. We practiced by answering page 21 in your language arts practice workbook. All right, so please pause the video and be sure to get out your workbook so we can go over these together and write the answers in your books. So for part A, we should circle each common noun. Circle common noun or proper noun to identify which noun it is. So number 1, forest. This is a common noun. Number 2, February. This is a proper noun. So this is the specific name of a month. All right, spring. This is a season like other seasons, so it is a common noun. Number 4, lizard. All right, lizard is also a common noun. David is a proper noun, so it's a name of a boy or a man. Okay, 6, science is a common noun. Number 7, Saturday is a proper noun, so it is a specific day of the week. Number 8, Ash Road. This is another proper noun. Street here is a common noun. Okay, and 10, Nature Museum is a proper noun. All right, so it is a specific place. All right, now part B. So underline the common nouns in each sentence and write the proper nouns. So in number 11, we have the common nouns town and salamanders. All right, but we have the proper noun Willow Science Center. All right, so write the proper noun on the line. Number 12, we have the common nouns night and creatures, so underline these two. And we have the proper nouns March and Henry Street, write those on the lines. Sorry. Number 13, they lay eggs in Peter's Pond on the other side of this busy road. We have the common nouns eggs, side, and road, and the proper noun in this sentence is Peter's Pond. Number 14, Thomas and other volunteers helped build tunnels for the salamanders. We underline volunteers, tunnels, and salamanders. All right, these are all common nouns, and our proper noun is Thomas. And number 15, on Friday, Thomas and his friends Jerry, Laura, and Anna helped with the project. We're going to underline friends. And there's a mistake here. We should also underline project because this is a common noun as well. And on the line, we're going to write the proper nouns Friday, Thomas, Jerry, Laura, and Anna. Okay? And number, now on page number 64, we read the biography, fantasy becomes fact. So you can go ahead and pause the video and get out your reading writing workshop textbook. All right, for the text to be clearer. So fantasy becomes fact gives us information about how technology leads to creative ideas. Okay. Let's read it together. Inventing the future. Have you ever imagined ways of traveling into space? Or have you used a tool and wished it did something more? One person who thought just this way was the science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke. Arthur is most famous for writing novels and stories about science and the future. But you may not know that real inventions came about as a result of things he first imagined. In his writings, Arthur envisioned technologies that did not yet exist, but might. This was no accident. Arthur studied and used scientific knowledge all during his lifetime. Arthur wrote about advanced computers and spaceships. Years later, these technologies were developed. Science at an early age. Even as a child, Arthur was passionate about science. Born in England in 1917 in a small town by the sea, Arthur spent his school years enthusiastically reading his favorite science fiction magazine. He was fascinated by astronomy and built a telescope when he was just 13. He also started writing his own science fiction stories. He even published them in a school magazine. Arthur loved imagining the future. All right, so Arthur loved imagining the future. This is now it makes it clear to us why the name of this biography or the title of this is Fantasy Becomes Fact. All right, Arthur's own future became uncertain as a teenager when his father died. Since his mother could not afford to send him to college, Arthur moved to London at the age of 19 and got an office job. In his free time, he worked at the subjects he loved. He also continued to write science fiction. His love of science and its possibilities would soon be useful. So here in the photo, we see Arthur C. Clarke's interest in science and space exploration lasted all his life. He sometimes constructed his own tools for his research. All right, now predicting the future. In 1913, Arthur joined the Royal Air Force to help fight the Second World War. It was there that Arthur began to invent. Arthur became an expert in the radar systems used to guide planes and detect enemies. This technology gave Arthur ideas. He imagined an amazing breakthrough in communication systems. He proposed a wireless system using space stations. This system required rockets to carry satellites into space. Then the satellites would help transmit signals around the Earth. Since satellites and space stations did not exist, this idea was a demonstration of Arthur's imagination. He had learned much about space. As with any inventor, Arthur built on technologies that already existed to create his system. For example, rockets that had been invented but could not yet travel into space. In 1957, Russia used a rocket to launch Sputnik-1, which became the first man-made object to orbit Earth. In the 1960s, a satellite communication system was created. It was just like the one Arthur had envisioned years before. Years later, the same kind of satellite was used to make cell phone communication possible. Although Arthur claimed the communication system as his own idea, he did not apply for patents. As a result, he never made money from his idea. Okay, so here in the photo, we see satellites like this one began with the launch of Sputnik-1, which weighed less than 200 pounds and was only about 23 inches in diameter. Can science fiction come true? In 1968, Arthur published one of his best-known novels, 2001: A Space Odyssey. In the novel, Arthur imagined a computer that controlled almost everything. Arthur's computer idea, HAL, could actually think for itself. Today, computers cannot think for themselves. However, they do control many of the devices in our homes, cars, planes, and spacecraft. HAL could recognize human voices as well as speak back. All right, now think, guys, about how this technology exists today. All right, this technology did not exist when the book was written, but it is common today. Think about Siri, for example. All right, so this is just how some of these things have become reality. Arthur's novel also predicted advances such as space stations and rocket-powered missions to far-off planets. He even predicted people reading news on electronic screens. So this is, again, something that all of us do today. Arthur C. Clarke's science fiction books have captivated readers around the world. Many of the technologies he wrote about seemed like fantasy at the time, but they turned into fact. His creative ideas may have inspired others to invent the very technologies he imagined. All right. So some of you might have difficulty understanding how visionary Arthur's ideas were, but we can look at the text to realize some important facts, all right, that help us make this clearer. So we know that in 1968, when his novel was published called 2001, A Space Odyssey, humans had not traveled yet to the moon. All right, there were no space stations, and computers at the time could not recognize and respond to the human voice. But the novel features all of these things. All right, so these things were in the novel that was written so long ago, and they didn't exist at the time. But now, in the future, these things have become reality. All right, so this is an example of an expository text, sorry, of a biography, all right? So not just any expository text, of a biography, okay? And in class, we then opened our Your Turn Practice Workbook, all right? Your Turn Practice Workbook to practice the vocabulary words that we read in today's biography. All right, so page 31 in your practice workbook, your turn. All right, so we're going to write a complete sentence to answer the questions on this page, and in the answers, be sure to use the vocabulary words in bold. All right, this is Your Turn Practice Workbook, page 31. Please pause the video and get your practice workbook if you do not have it with you. All right, so number one, what is an activity that you do enthusiastically? All right, now think about what enthusiastically means. If you respond enthusiastically, or if you do something enthusiastically, this means that you show great interest or excitement. So in class, these are the sentences that we wrote. We wrote, I enthusiastically play soccer with my friend. All right, and number two, why should inventors get patents for their inventions? Right? We wrote patents help inventors protect their inventions from being copied. Okay, number three. What are two most helpful devices you use every day? The two most helpful devices are, this is what we wrote in class. Everybody agreed that the two most helpful devices are my phone and tablet. All right, number four, name something that recently captivated your imagination. We said when you are captivated by something, you are influenced by it, or it inspires you in a way. All right, so we wrote, my imagination was captivated by the movie I saw last week. Number five, how would you know if a person is passionate about baseball? We wrote, someone who is passionate about baseball has strong feeling for the game. Number six, if items in the lost and found at school are not claimed, what should happen to them? items that are not claimed should be donated to charity. All right, so this is what we decided was the best thing to do with something that is not claimed, to donate it to charity. All right. Again, the word claimed means when you declare something as your own. So the people who lost these things did not come and ask about them. So we agreed that the best thing to do is to donate these to charity, to people who need them. What is a breakthrough you have made when trying to learn something new? You wrote, I made a breakthrough when I learned how to read French. All right, and number 8, what is one type of technology you have envisioned for the future? We wrote, I have envisioned flying cars. All right, breakthrough, we said, is an important advance. All right, so it was an important thing that I did when I learned how to read French. So it probably wasn't easy for me, and it didn't come on the first try. All right, and number 8, I have envisioned flying cars. We said envisioned is when you imagine what will happen in the future. All right. Next, we did page 36, also in your reading writing workshop textbook. Sorry, in your turn practice workbook. So your turn practice workbook, page 36. All right, number 1. Let's read first. Robot creator Tomotaka Takahashi lives and works in Japan. As a boy, he enjoyed reading comic books about robots, and he liked to build interesting devices. Now he builds robots that he hopes people will use in everyday life. Tomotaka does not want his robots to look like machines. He envisions them as friendly devices that look like people. He gives his robots extra movements to help them walk and move smoothly. People are captivated by Tomotaka's amazing robot. So how do we know that this is a biographical text? Because it includes facts about his life and work. Whose life? Tomotaka. Life and work. Okay, identify 3 facts about Tomotaka Takahashi that are included in the text. Here are some of the possible responses. All right, there are, of course, other possible answers. He lives in Japan. All right, this is one. He lives in Japan. He builds robots. And he hopes people will use his robots in everyday life. Okay, what words and phrases introduce information about different times in his life? We have as a boy, all right, so this phrase tells about his childhood. And now tells what he does as an adult. All right, number 4. How does the illustration help you understand more about the robots that he creates? The robots in the photo look friendly and they move like humans. All right. In the photo, it says Tomotaka's friendly looking robots walk and move like humans. All right, so that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions about this week's genre, vocabulary, or anything else from today's video, please let me know. And your homework is uploaded on Smart Schools about common and proper nouns. Take care, guys. Bye.